her dog, who was there, runs into the slaughterhouse.
What?
Especially after starting activism, the relationship I have with animals is so much deeper than when I first started. Because when you just go vegan, and that's it, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, what happened is that for 2.5 years, I was vegan, but I never really made an effort to meet animals, any animals really. I was in college at the time, and I didn't even hang out with a lot of cats and dogs or even companion animals. I just didn't really, meet animals. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that. But after I started activism, 2.5 years after I went vegan, I started meeting animals in a lot of different contexts. I met them at sanctuaries, I met them at slaughterhouses, I met them in people's homes. And the more I've met them, I found that my relationship to them keeps deepening all the time. I mean, I went through these different stages where at first, before I started meeting them, I understood that, I should love them all and that they're all equal. And I was vegan, so I got that. But then as I started meeting them, the first thing that I experienced was after meeting chickens at a sanctuary. I was like, wait a second. I now actually feel about these chickens the same way that I always felt about cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And I passed that. But then past that, what I'm going through now is I'm seeing these animals more and more as individuals. Not just seeing them, but feeling them.
You're experiencing
I'm experiencing them, and that's how I approach them. When I approach animals now, I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm an earthling, you're an earthling, what's up, let's hang out. And that's really how it feels. And from that place, I've been able to cultivate relationships with animals that I've never been able to cultivate before. I was thinking about that. I was like, this is so weird. The more I spend time with animals, the more animals get close to me, the more they allow me to get close to them, and the more we actually form relationships. Because see to me, because I've never spent a large amount of time with animals. Actually, I did in my house in Singapore, but I was in vegan back then, so I didn't think about it this way. But what I found is that when I am able to meet an animal day after day for several days in a row, I cultivate a relationship with them through that time that changes. I never used to think about it this way, because I was like, oh my god, I love this dog, and every day would be like, I still love you. But now when I meet animals and I spend time with them, like over several days, I literally feel like I'm becoming friends with them. And it's not just I'm feeling, it's like I'm actually becoming.
You're experiencing the relationship.
Becoming friends with them in the same way that you and I became friends, in the same way that I become friends with human beings. I started becoming friends with animals, and I was asking myself, I was like, why is it that I feel like now everywhere I go, animals they like me, they get around me. I'm like, what? I used to never understand cats, for example, and now everywhere I go, like these cats just come try to get my attention. They're like purring around me. I'm like, what is going on right now?
And you have dogs all over you, over Jennifer.
And I attribute this to spending more time with them, and to deepening my relationship with them, deepening my understanding of them, and really seeing them as individuals. And as I approach them from that place, they are able to get close to me as well.
Yes, because we have to merge. Exactly. You said, I'm so glad you said that, because in order to have these relationships and these experiences with these animals, we can't just come at them and want to pet them and want to, pick them up and, and oh, aren't you cute? Oh, boo, boo, boo. No, we have to come at them from our heart. We have to approach them and get quiet. I'm really a firm believer in that, the quieter I am in my being when I'm with these animals, the more they're able to feel my true intention, without where I'm not trying to reach and grab them. And when I am holding them, I'm doing so with much respect, and, it's so interesting, the way that I communicate to animals today. I always had an ability to communicate with dogs and cats. When I was younger, and because I have a background in yoga and healing of all kinds, and so when my animals would get sick, I always had this natural inclination to do energy work and healing with my animals. And so I would come at the cats and dogs from this place, but a chicken. I remember when I had my chicken Dixie Chick, and early on in the evolution of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, before we ever funded, Vegan Everyday Stories was here. The Glenn Scott Lacey and I can't think of his name, but they were here doing the Vegan Everyday Stories, producing it, and we won. Out of 700 entries, we were one of the 4 main stories, and you can watch it out there if you want to on YouTube. You can actually, Google it, Vegan Everyday Stories, it's there. And I was holding Dixie Chick at the kitchen sink, and this is on the actual story. And it's really helped. A lot of people have gone vegan because of this one episode where I was holding Dixie Chick. She had a problem with her leg. She was limping, and so I had her at the sink, and I was trying to feel, because I have a background as a massage and yoga therapist, and I was feeling of her little leg, and some of her tendons, and all of a sudden I got it was like, the word I use is guttural. It was like deep. It was like, it made me want to gag, because I felt the flesh of her leg that I used to call a chicken leg. I want the chicken leg, or the breast, or I was feeling of her flesh because I was trying to help her, not eat her. Here I am with Dixie Chick trying to help her, not eat her, but all of a sudden my intellect went straight to the fact that I used to eat that very anatomy. It was,
I had a very similar experience. These 2 things I'm going to talk about, one of my first sanctuary visits, these are the 2 things I learned. One was that, very simple, when you were talking about respecting the animals as we pick them up, one of the first things I learned was that, because when I was younger, the way that I used to approach animals was like, oh my God, you're so cute, I want to touch you, I want to cuddle you, I want to pet you, like blah, blah, blah. And it was all about what I want to do to you, because you are so cute and I love how cute you are. And then I evolved to, okay, let me actually respect your space. So for animals, if you try to touch them, you reach out and they move away. They're saying, don't touch me now. It's clear. So don't touch them. So that's one of the first things I learned. And then the other thing too is I was holding a chicken and I felt her breast. And I had basically the same experience that you had. And, this is why I think it's so important for us to meet these animals. Because it's one thing to be like, okay, we shouldn't eat chickens. It's another thing to be holding a chicken. And for me, for the first time holding a chicken, I was like, this chicken has a warm body. I can feel her heartbeat. I can feel her moving around. I could feel her life.
Yes.
That she was alive. And that was very, very different from just intellectually knowing that and understanding that. Actually having the experience was so powerful. And then, another thing, going back to the previous point about respecting their space. I just learned this. I really just learned this like yesterday as we picked up Omen. Omen is a chicken that we rescued yesterday that was running around loose, probably escaped from a slaughterhouse or a slaughter truck or something like that. And we found her just roaming around, and we're like, we have to get this chicken out of here because she's going to get killed if we don't. And so we were trying to get her. I didn't know because I've never rescued a chicken like this before ever in my life. So I didn't really know what it was going to entail. But I remember you told me you were like Ryuji, I don't know if we're going to get her because chickens are really hard to get when they don't want to be caught.
When they don't want to be caught,
they're really hard to get. And I didn't know that. But now knowing that, I was like, oh, I didn't have the right approach at first. That's why I shifted throughout the rescue, because at first I was trying to catch up to her and catch her.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I was trying to run after her, and I was like, and then you kind of calmed down, and I was like, oh, okay, we gotta calm down, and we really gotta pay attention to who we're being as we're
Yes.
approaching her. And that's when we were able to, as a team, you were on that side, I was behind her, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna grab after her. I'm just gonna go to her and
Yes, and that's
and
exactly
get
what
her.
happened.
And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. We had this crazy experience in Toronto. We were bearing witness at Fearman's Pork with Anita Krines, the founder of the Safe Movement, and her whole crew there. It was incredible. And what happened is that as we're bearing witness, I was actually shooting a video with Anita, and while I'm
Why does that
shooting,
surprise me?
while I'm shooting the video, her dog, who was there, runs into the slaughterhouse.
What?
I've never told you this, huh?
No.
The dog runs into the slaughterhouse. Now, no one tells us this until we're done shooting the video. Which, looking back, like someone should have interrupted that video. At the same time, I'm happy we got the video because the dog was safe. The dog was safe in the end.
Oh my God.
So, okay, it turned out well. But as soon we were done shooting the video, I was like, I was wrapping up. I was like, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Blah blah blah. All right, we're done. And then, like, someone comes up. They're like, your dog like ran to the slaughterhouse. Anita freaks out. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot.
What kind of
believe this.
dog?
I don't know actually.
Big one? Little one?
Pretty big, yeah.
Oh my God.
And just runs to the slaughterhouse. So we run to the slaughterhouse. Anita climbs like beneath the gate of the slaughterhouse. She's like scrambling to this is insane. She's like we need everyone inside the slaughterhouse now. And so if you, like some people didn't go because this is obvious trespassing at this point. I don't even know if we should be talking about this, but
Hey, scratch that, okay? Rewind. No.
but a few of us go into the slaughterhouse and just to get the dog because we're like we gotta get this dog out of here. And so we're in there, but at first while I was in there, I was taking the approach of I was trying to chase the dog.
Yeah.
And I had actually done that with stray dogs in the past where I try to chase them down and it doesn't work.
No.
Because a dog will always outrun you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot
So
outrun.
will a chicken, by the way.
So I'm like, you cannot outrun these animals. They're too fast for us. So anyways, but I realized because what happened in the end was that Anita was there. She was just waiting to receive the dog. I forgot his name, but her name, Michelle was her name. She was waiting to receive Michelle, and then Michelle finally came into Anita's arms. And with that experience, with the experience with Omen the other day, I was like, oh.
Yeah, but so
that's-
I'm so glad because you didn't tell me that until just now, this experience. So, but I noticed the shift in the energy. That's the reason I was able to come down.
Yeah.
Because I felt the energy change and I knew. And so together, I was on one end coaxing one way and you were on the other end coaxing the other way. And then right when we met towards the middle, you were able to pick her up. And it was just that simple. Mm-hmm. And that's how you can move whole herds of cows too, by the way. And I've seen it done. I've watched animals go through shoots and everything just by being led, rather than prodded and rattled and shaken up and kicked. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's because as we grow up, we just assume that we can't communicate with them.
Yeah.
But we can.
We can.
And I've seen that and experienced that over and over and over again. And as I spend more and more time with them, that's what I'm able to do.